Sherry. Welcome to my craft room. If you're new here, I'm Sherry. This is my craft room. This is my channel where I discuss mostly cross stitch, but also some gardening, some sewing, other crafty things I get up to. Well, mostly cross stitch, a little bit of life, a whole lot of kitten chaos, because kittens. Yeah, so if you're a returning visitor, hi, welcome back. Glad to have you. Glad to see you. You can also find me on Instagram under the same name, Hecate's Needle. But let's get started. All right. We'll begin with life. Life is back to normal. No longer sick, no longer have allergies, none of that nonsense. I feel much better. I can breathe through my nose. That's always an improvement. We survived Halloween. The Halloween tree survived Halloween, but barely. I do still have the same remaining 5 ornaments. The kittens didn't get to those. Not without trying. Okay, they tried a lot, but they didn't make it. But I'll be taking that down this weekend, putting all the Halloween ornaments away. We finally got some winter-ish weather. Words and syllables, they're hard. I think it's in the 50s right now, which I know to most of the world, they're like, really? That's no big deal. To us in South Texas, we're freezing. we're in our flannel, okay? But it has been cold. We've actually had some frost in the morning, a couple mornings. To us, this is freezing. Sorry. We're weak. However, I'd like to see you survive our summer temperatures. We're not so weak then. It's funny how wherever you live or wherever you're used to living, your body adjusts to that. We handle the heat. No big deal. We handle the heat. We know what to do. Give us anything below 65 and it's like a state of emergency. And if there's frost involved, oh hell no. We don't do that. We don't do that nonsense here. But people up north, oh, that's shorts weather, who cares? Give them our summer temperatures of 120 and they're dying. Okay. But anyway, so we finally moved into our winter weather-ish. This weekend, I think it's supposed to be back up in the 80s, almost 90 again by next week. So we're enjoying it while it lasts. I had my peppermint hot chocolate this morning. And ooh, I felt so wintry. But anyway, moving on to cross stitch. I didn't do a lot of progress. I only worked on one project. And those who have followed me on Instagram or who have been here before know which project that is, because I wanted to get it done by Halloween. And I got it done on Halloween. Thank you very much. The Rare Horror Flies is finished. It is done. It is amazing. I love it. As you can see, that big boy there in the middle, he took a hot minute. He took longer than I thought he would. But there it is. Now, the original design was only the picture. As an optional add-on, she included the words and labels, and then of course the little numbers to correspond to the labels, like a scientific exhibit. And of course, you know, being a triple science major, I had to do that. that was a must. But I love it. I love how it turned out. Also, as a bonus, just for the people who signed up for or paid for the stitch along, she included a bonus pattern. Now I can't show it to you because it's just a chart. It didn't come with a photo. But it is the Lunatic Moth Life Cycle. And it's got the scientific labels and everything. So I'll stitch that too. But that one is a small to medium size. It's not near as big as that one. But I will stitch that too. I'm just not going to do it now. I have to concentrate on Christmas. But that is the only ongoing project that I worked on this time. But now that is finished, I will finish my mother's bookmark. I will be working on my husband's gone fishing one. I believe he has a couple of trips planned this month for business, so I'll have some time to work on that and hopefully can get most of it, if not all of it, done. Because I will stitch on that while he's gone. Now, since I finished the rare horror flies, my husband was allowed to pick another project from our mystical, magical cup of projects. And the one he chose seed pack towels. And this one, I believe, is from Just Cross Stitch magazine, and it is from June 2021. And it's got the charts for both the lettuce and the tomato. I am not going to do these as towels. I'm going to do them as prints to hang on the wall. And I'm not going to do them on plain white. I actually think I'm going to do them on a pale yellow to kind of brighten them up. I'll have to see. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Because my kitchen is not white. So these would stand out quite a bit. So this I will kit up tonight. Now I already have the floss. I just have to figure out the fabric. But like I said, I think I'm going to do it on a pale yellow. Or maybe an off-white. We'll have to see. But this is the one that was chosen from our mystical, magical cup of projects. He was so excited. He's like, "Oh, I get to pick." Yes, you do. So that's going to be added to the works in progress. The other thing I've been working on. Now, I said I haven't made progress, but I meant I haven't made stitching progress. I have made progress with my stitching projects, though. I have been working on... I had mentioned I was going to be doing ornaments. Starting this month, I'm going to be doing 2 ornaments per month. 1 Halloween, 1 Christmas. That way by next year, I will have ornaments to replace all the ones the kittens have broken and will break in December, because they will, trust me. I already know. So I've gone through all of my Christmas and Halloween special edition Just Cross Stitch magazines and printed out the ones I wanted. And then I've also, whatever free ones that I had in my 3-ring binder, I've got those. And I've started matching them to my fabric. Now the fabric I'm using are scraps. As I trim around the edges of my projects that I finish, like the excess fabric from this one that I trimmed off, I throw in a box. And I keep them for small projects like that. And so I've been going through and matching them. Now, I don't have enough for the whole year yet. I just don't. I'm still working on it. But the ones I do have for Halloween, I have this one. And I have matched it to a pale purple, just like they used in their project. Now I'm bending it because I don't want to show the chart and get myself in trouble. I don't want people angry with me. I have this one. Here's a little closer look. And again, I've matched it to pale purple, just like they have used. I have this one. Now this one, when I got the fabric for the Rare Horror Flies, from Witch's Garden Crafts, she had included a little sample of a sparkly, bright orange. And that's what I'm going to use for this project. I think it's big enough. I have this little bitty one, and I'm just going to do it on Black Ada, just like they did. I want to do this one. I think that's beautiful. I love it. And again, I'm just going to use Black Ada for that one. Those are the only Halloween ones I've matched up so far. For Christmas ones, I want to do this one. Now I'm going to change the year. Okay, I'm not going to put 2020. I'll probably put 2024. And I'm just going to use a rustic. So. And I want to do this one. And I have just a little square of vintage white that I'm going to use for that. I want to do this one. And I have a piece of chili pepper red that I want to use for that one. I want to do this one, and I have a piece of just tan, and then I want to do this one, and again I just have a piece of tan. Those are the ones I've matched up so far. Now, I still have a whole stack. This is Halloween, this is Christmas, that I still need to match with pieces that I have. But I've matched all of these. Now, I have matched all of these, but that's not enough for the whole year, so I still have work to do on that. That being said, I dyed a piece of fabric, and I ice dyed this with black and royal blue, and it came out like this. I love it. I really like the way it turned out, and I have this one. I did this one specifically for this project. I want to do that, use that one for this project. So I did do that. So there's progress. It's just not stitching progress. That's that. Now, it was Halloween. My husband is all about the holidays. Now, he never had children of his own, okay? And he's never really had a family to celebrate holidays with. So whenever we have a holiday, he goes all out. He's all for it, all into it. He's in the spirit. To that effect, he gets us Halloween gifts. You know, my daughter's not old enough to trick or treat. We aren't in an area that has trick or treaters because we're out in an unincorporated area. We don't really do the Halloween parties and things like that. So we just, instead of like the candy and everything, we just give a little sack of, usually like for my daughter, she gets a bag of candy, and then she gets something. Like this year, she got a Halloween t-shirt, some matching socks, and a little Halloween plushie. And then her candy. My husband, I gave him the flannel pajama pants with ghosts on them. And then I gave him a set of golf balls that had different horror themes on them. Like one had Freddy Krueger on it, one had Jason from whatever movie, you know. So, and then he got a sack of candy. For me, he went way above and beyond, okay? And I don't want to know how much he spent because I'm pretty sure it would give me a stroke. But what he got me, he got me 3 patterns. One of them is by Madame Lafay, and it is La Potion Magique, and it's this one. And I think it's adorable. And it comes with a little jack-o'-lantern charm. So that I love. I love Madame Lafay patterns. I really do. There's that one. And the next one is also Madame Lafay, and it is Grimoire. That one right there, which I really love. And it comes with a little haunted house charm, which is adorable. And then he got me a 3rd pattern that made me laugh. This is not a pattern I would have picked. This is not a pattern I would have bought, but it is a pattern I will stitch because I know why he chose it. My husband, one, he loves to play like horror survival games on his PlayStation. He also loves reading about haunted things, like down in, I don't know if it's, I think it's Mexico, La Isla de los Muñecos, I think, the Isle of the Dolls. He loves that stuff. And we both like spooky movies, not slasher films. We don't like bloody, gory stuff like that. We like more spooky, gothic ghost stories, okay? All that being said, I am fairly certain he got me this pattern because he wants me to stitch this pattern for him. It is by Tilton Crafts. And it is Zombie Doll. Now, this looks like a whole lot of black, but there are actually 60 different colors in this pattern. But I would bet 10 to 1 he got me this pattern because he wants me to stitch this pattern for him. Okay. There's a little bit of self-interest there, maybe. Perhaps a little bit. But he got me those 3 patterns. Now, he also got me something else. And I don't know how he found it. I don't know how he knew about it, but he found it, he knew about it, and he ordered it. And he must have jumped right on it because I know these sell out quickly. He got me at Starlight Stitchery the Haunted House box. Like I said, I don't want to know how much he spent on it because I'm sure it wasn't cheap. And I'm pretty sure I would have words to say. Lots of words to say. But I figured I would share what's in it for everyone. Now, when you open it, of course, it just comes like this. And yes, I've already opened it. There's no way I could wait. Oh, heck no. And when you open it up, this is on top. And it's the menu of all the things that are in there. And then they've got a little scan so that you can listen to the Haunted House playlist on Spotify. So there's that. Right off the bat, you've got a little note, which I thought was cute. A ghost stole your haunted Hallow spoon. And it says, actually, the purveyor of this spooky teaspoon ran into a slight delay shipping them out to us. We will send your spoon along separately as soon as it arrives in our haunted office. So, a spoon didn't get put in there, but is on its way. There is also, they included a sticker from the Haunted House stitch box, which I think is beautiful. I love it, and I do love stickers. So I don't know what it is about stickers that make grown adults but we love stickers. Who doesn't love stickers? And there's this one, which I also love because books. I love books. There is a wax melt, which I don't have a wax melter. Apparently I'll have to get one. But honestly, this thing smells so strong. It doesn't need to be melted. You can just stick it in a bowl and it'll scent the whole room. But it is by Foxglove and Rue, which I believe is part of Starlight Stitchery. And the way they describe it is dark corridors, ghosts, and a hint of pumpkin spice. The spice is strong with this one. They also have their card and a care and keeping card, which it says, you know, if you don't have a melter, you can put our melts out in a dish in a sunny window or in a jar with holes in the lid as a car air freshener. And that's probably what I'll do. The next thing in the box is Pumpkin Spice Black Tea by Plum Deluxe. And I drink tea, so that's fine. And a tea strainer, which as a tea drinker, I already have several of those. But that's okay, you can always use another one, right? You get a little muslin bag that has your floss in it. The floss is by Forbidden Fiber, and you get 5 different colors. The first color is Ectoplasmic Aura, and it's a white. The next one is Spectre, which is a very, very pale gray. As you can see, it's only maybe 2 shades darker than the white one. The next one is Rusty Nails, which is this darker orange. It's not a bright orange, it's a dark orange. Which I threw in the floor. I can't make a video without throwing things in the floor. The next one is Arsenic Wallpaper, and it's a variegated green, which I love the name because, you know, back in the day, that's how they made green wallpaper, was arsenic, until it started killing people, or they realized it was killing people. And the 5th one is Velvet Drapes, which is a variegated purple to gray. But all 5 colors are just lovely, which, you know, I've said before, I like Forbidden Fiber. I like their fabric, I like their floss. They do a good job. But there are your 5 colors. Then they give you, which my husband knows I stitch on Aida, so he got me the 14 count Aida in Ghostly, and it is a very, very pale blue. Again, it's only maybe a shade or 2 above white, but it is huge. Oh my gosh, it is huge. This is like a blanket, okay? Which I'm not complaining. Let's see. We can measure it because I have that technology. This is 34 inches by 27 inches. It is huge, which is awesome. So we got the fabric. I'm not sure if I'm smart enough to refold it. All right, there we go. Fabric in the color Ghostly, and then we got the pattern. Now the booklet, it's in a nice book, the pattern, but it doesn't have a picture of it. The picture, if you stitch the entire thing, looks like this. This is what the pattern looks like, and it has multiple designers, you know, a designer for each little room with its vignette, and the book is just the chart. Now the front page, of course, it has the designers for each room, and I mean, this is printed beautifully. But the house and the graveyard were designed by Cobweb and Rose. The bedroom was designed by Witchy Stitcher. The kitchen was designed by World on a String by Dara. The library was designed by Foxglove and Crow. The parlor was designed by the Stitch Crypt. The dining room was designed by the Tuscan Cardinal. The attic was designed by Stitch Sprout. The bathroom was designed by Fine Frog Stitching. The living room was designed by Bindi Stitchy Designs. The laundry was designed by Mama Witch Cross Stitch. And the greenhouse, of course, was designed by Noctiflora Designs. And then, of course, like I said, the booklet is all the charts. And then the back cover, it has all the information so that you can find all the designers and see what else they offer, which I like. So that was the Stitchy Box, the Haunted House Stitchy Box by Starlight Stitchery, and I love it. I love it. I don't want to know how much he spent on it, but I love it. And I love him. That was a thoughtful gift. Now, like I said, I have no idea how he found out about it or knew about it or anything else, but okay. I'm not going to argue, and I'm sure as heck not going to insist he take it back. But that's what I got for Halloween. As I've said before, my husband absolutely spoils us. Now, I did get a few things myself. I had mentioned before, last video, I had gotten my fabric of the month from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it was this gray with orange splatters on it. And I hadn't matched it to a design. Well, I finally matched it to a pattern now. And I think I'm going to use it for my little Halloween pattern. Happy Halloween 2 by Sarah. So I think that is what I'm going to use it for. And I've already got it in the package with the pattern, so that when it comes pulled from the cup, I've already got the fabric. But I think that's what I'm going to use it for. Now, the other fabric I had gotten last time was from Witch's Garden Crafts, and it was in the color Tortuga. And I had originally ordered it with the thoughts that I would use it on a project I wanted to stitch for my husband's shop office. Change in plans. This fabric is too pretty for those guys. Diesel mechanics don't need sparkly turquoise fabric. I'm sorry, they just don't. And they're not getting it. But I did match it to a pattern. Now, back a while ago, Barbara Anna Designs did a stitch along for the Dreaming Girl. I got the patterns, but I never did start it because at the time I was working on the Modern Folk Embroidery's Spirits of the Dead for my son, and I wanted to get that done. And that was a sizable piece, so I never started it. Well, I decided that this fabric, and it is a sparkly turquoise, would be perfect for this design. I think all of the bright colors that Barbara Anna tends to use in these patterns of hers will look good on this. So I am going to use this fabric for that design. I've already got it matched up, ready to go for whenever that project is pulled from the cup. So I have matched that to a project. Now, my husband did take me to the Stitchy store because I wanted to find some 16 or 18 count Aida to use for ornaments. Problem is, they didn't have any. She was sold out. All she had was plain white. I have plain white, so I didn't get any. And honestly, she said she's been selling out of those two as fast as she gets them in, so. But I did find on the discontinued rack for $1, I did find this one by Erica Michaels, Scaredy Cat. And I thought that was cute. And it's not a large pattern, you know. It's only 71 wide by 63 high, so it's not a large pattern. But I figured, why not for $1? That's cute. So I got that. Since I couldn't find fabric there, I went on 123 Stitch and I found some fabric there. And I got 3 pieces, and they were just small 8 by 12 inch pieces because I don't need a big piece just to do ornaments, you know. And they're all 16 count. I didn't really see any 18 count that I liked. But I got some 16 count in 3 different colors. And I got Rubius, which is a red. And I figured that would be good for some Christmas ornaments. Then I got Jade, which is kind of a grayish green, like a dusty green almost. And I thought that would go for either Halloween or Christmas. And then I got some in the color Icon, which is more of a blue. And I thought that would be good for Christmas ornaments, especially if they're like snowflakes or snowmen or whatever. But I got that one. So I got those 3, and I think I spent $6. But those will come in handy for doing the ornaments. And that was all the stuff I got, which is plenty, trust me. I have 3 new patterns to throw in the cup. That's awesome. You pick one out, put in 3. A little off balance there, but that's okay. Well, 4 if you count the haunted house. Okay. Those are even worse odds. But anyway, that's it for cross stitch. Now for sewing. I did make something. Of course, I had told you I got the pattern for the cross stitch project keeper from Tiger Lily Designs, and I had originally said I was going to make it out of a fabric with sunflowers on it. I changed my mind. Why did I change my mind? Because Snoopy is awesome. And I was in the Halloween mood. So I got Halloween Snoopy. And it's got the Velcro closure. It has the little floss. Now, I did not stitch the lines going up and separate this because I figured if I left it open, I could probably fit more bobbins in there. It's got the pocket, and then it's got the zipping pocket, the zipped up pocket. So I got that, and I'm probably going to use this to put all of my ornament projects in. Now, I made it, and I made it exactly as the pattern told me to. I will say that the next time I make it, and I will make it again, I am going to modify it. And this is just a matter of personal taste. It's nothing against the pattern itself. I don't like the foam that they used for this. I don't need it to stand up by itself. I don't need it to be this stiff, basically. I will not use the foam. I will probably use batting. And, you know, with quilting, you always have scraps of batting. So I will use batting next time. The other thing I probably won't do is use stiff interfacing on all of this fabric. Again, I don't need anything to be that stiff. And I make project bags all the time, so I know easier ways to do this. So I will modify it a bit just according to my personal tastes. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. It's just I will modify it when I make it again. But I will likely use this to keep all of my ornament stuff in. And it'll just be an ongoing thing. But I made this. I also made myself a Halloween t-shirt. I made my husband 2 pairs of pajama pants out of flannel. Now one was the ghosts. That one I gave to him for Halloween. No, that wasn't for Christmas. But the other one with the moths, that was for Christmas. So I made those. I also made my daughter a sweatshirt. So I did get some sewing done. Now, also for sewing, I had mentioned I have finished designing my daughter's Christmas doll. I've got all the fabric cut for it. Well, I have also painted the face. The face has been painted and is dry, so now I can start stitching it. And I will likely start that, if not tonight, then probably Saturday. Tomorrow, Fridays are the days I clean house and do laundry, so I don't sew. I might stitch, but I don't sew. But now that's ready to start sewing it up. And that'll take a few days, but hopefully we'll be finished before the next video, because I need to get started on that, because I really don't want to be doing it at 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve, which I have done in the past, back when I worked. So now I also have the pattern to make polos for my husband's golfing shirts, and I've got 3 pieces of fabric for it. I've got gray, navy blue, and hunter green. I have the fabric, I just need to get it cut out, and that won't take long, and it won't take long to stitch them up either. I've got that. I've also got some fabric coming. It should be here any day now. Some sweatshirt fabric to make my daughter another sweatshirt, and it's in Princess Pink. Couldn't be more perfect. So I'll get that done. And then I have the yellow flannel cut for my daughter's flannel shirt, which that's, an afternoon. I made this one. And it's Snoopy, which is awesome. It takes me an afternoon. But I have all of those cut out. And then I have some t-shirt knit to make her a set of pajamas. And then my Christmas sewing will be done. And I'll be so excited. And I can finally get all of this cleaned off. This in the corner is my stack of scraps, because the basket I used to put them in was confiscated and has disappeared. And I don't know where it's at. The last time I saw it, it was in the hall bathroom with a kitten in it. They carried it off, and I haven't seen it since. So I don't know where it's at. I'm going to have to come up with another solution for that. Can't use a box because there will be a kitten in it. But we're going to come up with something. But anyway, that's all the sewing. So next up, gardening. Now we had, in the last video I mentioned we had planted a bed with chard, spinach, and Chinese cabbage, the Napa cabbage. Those have all sprouted. The plants are about this big now. They're doing great. We had also planted a bed with cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. That has all sprouted and is doing great. We had planted a large bed with bush beans, the yellow wax beans. Those plants are about this tall now. They're just doing fabulous. Since then, I have harvested all of our basil. It is currently in the dehydrator. Once it's finished drying, I'll grind it up and bottle it. And it'll last us, until next year when we can get some more, when we grow some more. And I use that barrel to plant cilantro. Hecate decided to join us. But as I was saying, once the basil is dried, I will cut back the oregano and put that in the dehydrator. The white sage is still growing. It's not ready to be cut yet. We cleared out four other beds. One we planted with chickpeas. They have not sprouted yet, but we just planted them this weekend. The other three, one of them is a small bed that has just a cage of net around it. We planted that with snow peas. The other one was a bed with teepees. They're about 6 feet tall. We planted that with snow peas. And then the third one was a bed that had an A-frame trellis in it. And we planted that with snow peas. Now, the reason we planted all three of them with snow peas is because we're trying to figure out which one is the best for harvesting. Okay. We've grown them on the A-frame before, and they did fine. And we've grown them in the cage before, and they did fine. Now, the cage makes it a little harder to find the peas to harvest them. The A-frame did okay, but we've never tried on the teepee before, so we decided to do it that way this time. Comfy. Hi, little teensy. That's what that project keeper's for. But we wanted to try it on the teepee and see if that might make it even easier to harvest, to find the peas without having to search the plants for them. But anyway, so we've got all of that planted, and at this point, that's all we're going to plant for the fall garden. Carrots, we won't plant until spring. Typically, we plant those in February, and they grow. And then about the time they have, they're starting to get the taproot really going, about the time they're recognizable as carrots, in March we usually get some freak frosts, which sweetens them. Garden tip from the horticulture major. Root crops are sweeter after a frost or a freeze, because that frost/freeze signals the plant to store all the energy, i.e. sugar, in the root, because the leaves are going to die off during the winter and you'll need that energy to sprout new leaves in the spring. So all of the sugar goes to the root. So you end up with sweeter carrots, sweeter turnips, sweeter beets, etc. So, tip from the horticulture major. We're not going to grow radishes this year. We're tired of radishes. Well, we don't eat them that often, so we're not going to grow those this year. We are still going to plant a bed with lettuce, though. I forgot that. We are still going to do that. We will probably get that planted this weekend. But that's all that's going on in the garden. The peppers are still producing. I just dried and ground up half a bottle of chili peppers. It was half a bottle ground. Now that his sister's in here, Snickers wanted in. Hi, baby. He wants down, but he wanted in. But as I was saying, the chili peppers are going nuts. My ahi mangoes, the plants have about 200 peppers on them right now. They're not ripe yet, but once they're ripe, we'll dry those and grind them up too. So the peppers are still going strong, and I'll have multiple bottles of ground chilies to last through the winter. I think my husband wants to make a cold frame to overwinter the pepper plants, but we'll see if he does it or not. Now, that's really all that's going on in the garden. As I said, I'm too old to be gardening in the winter or the summer. So spring and fall is it. That's it. That's it. So that's really all that's going on here. My husband is planning a couple trips in November, so I'll be able to get some good stitching done on his project and hopefully get it finished. I'd really like to get that done. Is that cozy? Is it comfortable? My little teensy? My little Hecate? She said, yes, Mama. Thank you for my new bed. Because cats. She purring. She's Mama's girl. But anyway, that's all that's going on here. I have my goddess. I have my little boys. And there's no telling where Jellybean is. He's probably asleep in the tower. He likes the little cave on the bottom. Mama made him a pillow, a soft fluffy pillow to put in it, so he lays there and naps. When he's not napping in my iron skillet. Artemis is in here on her bed. But anyway, that's all we're doing here. Getting ready for Christmas. Growing food. Doing what we do. Thank you for joining me in my craft room. If you liked what you saw, you enjoyed visiting, like, subscribe, share, hit the little notification bell thingy, all of those things that the YouTubers say. Go ahead and do all that. And since it's Thursday, I can go ahead and say I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I hope to see you back in my craft room again.